I don't even know where to start with any of this, man. There's a ton of different directions we can go here, and there's a lot of material. But really, all I want to talk about is Kendrick Perkins and J.R. Smith. And also, yes, we may possibly get to the NHL at some point. I'm not sure yet, but there's a lot to delve into in the finals for sure, even though it's 2-0 and it's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, one finals is definitely over. One should be over, or it's going to be hilarious. Um, and I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't have much more to say on JR that's been said in the past couple of days. I think that was the dumbest play I've ever seen in basketball. I think that he obviously just didn't know the score, which is the essence of JR in one play. Um, but I mean, I don't know if there's much more to say about it. I was interested. Did you see that clip of that came out of them sitting on the bench and LeBron, like, they go to the bench and they're just silent for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, he's
And then
gone.
LeBron finds out that they did in fact have one timeout left. And then you literally can watch LeBron contemplate what Philadelphia high schools are best for Bronny to go to.
Yeah. I mean, he's gone, clearly, dude. And I mean, I think it's really fair to say that it's the dumbest play in the history of the NBA. And I mean, that, excuse me, that seems reactionary, but at the same time, like, dude, it was incredibly dumb. And again, dude, this is the thing that I get a little frustrated with over the past couple of days is like we continue to sit here and say, well, they had a timeout, they could have called timeout. And yeah, that's true, but also like J.R. Smith got the rebound. There's never been a time in J.R. Smith's career where any coach has ever looked at that dude and been like, yeah, he's not going to shoot. Like he's going to hesitate to shoot the ball. And so I just like I'm not totally down with the narrative that they should have called timeout there, dude. I just thought it was incredibly dumb. It's super Jr. It's just a perfect story. The whole
I,
thing is perfect, man. Like LeBron storming out of the media thing and mocking that poor ESPN reporter. Like the whole thing was just so perfect to me, dude. And yeah, like you said, man. I mean, he's gone, and I don't know the appropriate time where we can finally get into this for real on the podcast, dude. But like, I'm not. I think he's gone, and also I'm not sure that there are any super great options at this point without just literally blowing up the system and going to Golden State yourself.
I mean, isn't that though like the whole reason why no one knows where he's going to go is because of that fact. Like you would think San Antonio would be the best option, but it's not. Like it's just for some reason it's not. You have the questions about if Pop's going to retire. You have the questions about is Kawhi happy and do they have the other pieces to put around him to win right now? I mean, Houston's not a lock. LA doesn't look as good. I agree. I think that's the reason why we don't know where he's going to go is because there's not a perfect fit. But I mean, Miami wasn't a perfect fit. He made it a perfect fit last offseason. So that's what's going to happen, I think. It's going to be him convincing somebody to join him at one of these destinations.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that someone is Kawhi Leonard. I don't know how Popovich makes that happen, but I think that that's something that has to happen. It just seems like those two sides are way too far apart.
Oh, Kawhi's gone. Kawhi is gone. If it's
What
not
about
this year, they might do the right thing, what Cleveland should have done with Kyrie, and just tell him to stay and you're playing out your contract. But I mean, he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I I mean, I thought it was interesting, dude, and I thought it was really funny, right? I just think it's the perfect story. Like the whole thing was really perfect. Like the thing with Kendrick Perkins to me, that's interesting because of sort of like the unwritten rule conversation there. And then also just the fact that like, dude, have we gotten to a point with Steph Curry where like 3 years ago, if Steph Curry turned around and like got in Kendrick Perkins' face, everyone would have been like, "What the fuck was Kendrick Perkins thinking slash doing?" Right? And now it feels like we're at a point where like, dude, like Steph's got a little bit of like a cockiness to him,
A little
just
bit.
despite the fact that he sells humble. super hard. And so I thought the whole thing was interesting there. And then also, dude, just like fuck unwritten rules. And on top of that, it's just funny as fuck to me that the most relevant thing Kendrick Perkins is going to do this finals is sit on his ass and literally not move.
I don't know. Kendrick Perkins is the second like most important coach on that team right now if you've been watching these games, because in these entire playoffs he's been coaching their defense every time down the court. He's been standing and yelling at their defense, which I do think is a big part of it. LeBron's obviously the most important coach, and Tyronn Lue's third.
What is his role with the team?
I mean, I think he's technically on a player contract.
He's on the roster, but he has not suited up.
So like it's pretty evident at this point that he's going to be making the transition to coaching next year, and this is sort of like a creative way for that to happen.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I think the initial idea was to bring him in so that in case that Tristan Thompson and like Larry Nance Jr. go off, then he can step in on the bench. But that would just still be a bench spot. So yeah, I think that's probably a good assumption.
Can you imagine how bad Cleveland's spacing would be against Golden State if Kendrick Perkins was actually on the floor?
I don't want to think about it.
I mean, their spacing against Golden State is already pretty piss poor.
Hey, man, they played better.
Game one, was great
I was about to
defense.
say, in both games, they've played better in both games than they have ever played in Oracle in the playoffs.
LeBron had to get you 50 and you lost.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
the rest of the players played well that game. I thought that was the best game that they put down in a long time as a team effort against a good team that like is just better than them. Not the Toronto Raptors, but against a team that's better than them. That's one of the best games I've seen them put together. And
they should have won game one. They are a George Hill missed free throw and the most unexplainable play in NBA history away from winning game one. And I think if they win game one, this is an interesting series. But I really do think that after game one, you saw the demoralization even going into overtime in LeBron's eyes. And I that's why I said when I texted y'all yesterday, it's going to be Golden State by 20 in game two. And like, I just think that they're so demoralized that this is the only way that it can end up being a sweep now.
Can we please explore for a second why we're not talking about George Hill at all? Like, I understand that J.R. Smith is someone that we love to hate or hate to love, or however the phrase would be correctly. I'm not really sure. But, like, dude, make the fucking free throw, George. You're an 80% free. It was startling to me, not that just that he missed the second free throw, but how badly he missed it.
Yeah.
It's like a professional golfer missing a gimme putt and not even hitting the hole. That's what it felt like to me.
It was bad. There's no question about it. And I mean, he did comment on how much it distraught him, but it was in that situation, he's the best free throw. God, none of us can say this tonight. Free throw shooter outside of Kyle Korver, and he can't put it away when you need him to. It's unfortunate.
I'm pretty sure you said free throw shooter, even though you went back to correct yourself, which just goes to show how unbelievably difficult it is to say free throw shooter.
No, you're not wrong. I gave up after a while.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think both teams played a little sloppy down the stretch, and then it was their game to win, man. It was their game to win. I have nothing really else to say on game one that hasn't been said by every media outlet out there. On game two, I expected them to blow it out, and then honestly, in game three, like I always expect out of LeBron, I expect him to win one at home. So I expect him to lose in 5 in this series, but I expect him to win one at home in game 3 probably.
So, okay. Well, there you go. I mean, that answers my question. I think it's 4, dude. I just think the Warriors are ready to sort of begin this fun summer, dude. And also, the Cleveland's not good, dude. I mean, LeBron got you 50. He got you 50 and you lost, man. And again, Will, understood. Like, point taken, right? They should have won game 1, and I'm with you there. But, I mean, clearly Golden State's going to win it. And you know, there are other interesting things to talk about there, but I think it's fair at this point to sort of begin to look forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's super interesting. I don't think since the last time we talked, so much has happened, including had that Colangelo stuff broke last time we were together, fellas?
No.
Because that's something I'd love to dive into NBA-wise.
Yeah, I agree,
Yeah,
man. We got a lot to talk about here. This is from the Nosebleeds podcast. We're going to recollect. We'll be right back.
Sorry, that popped into my head for a second, and I was like, there's no way we haven't talked about this, but I guess it has been like a week and a half since we were on last Thursday.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's okay to have a short opening segment.
Brian Colangelo, Mac,
Oh my God, you don't. Oh no. Let's just bring him in real time, dude.
All right, hold on. Let me just Brian Colangelo.
Yeah,
mostly 76ers.
Yeah, mostly. You pull something up if you need to, because you can be the person to explain it.
All right, yeah, hold on. This shit's super interesting.
Oh, it's awesome. It's such a good story.
It might be like the best culmination of like stories that could possibly have come up for the best team that it could have possibly come up for.
What's the status today?
Say it again.
He's Brian Colangelo.
He's the GM of the 76ers. If you type in GM Philadelphia, it'll be the first story to come up.
Okay.
Matt,
I kind of want Will. I want Will to just do his thing.
Yeah, let me figure out. His birthday was 4 days ago. That's awesome. All right, yeah, hold on. Let me find the article that I read the other day that explained it all.
How have you guys been?
Doing well, man. How's Canada?
It was fun.
What did you do there?
Drank and worked on my uncle's property and played beer pong and hung out. It was fun.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so as of today, they're still
figuring it out.
Yeah, they're still
all right
investigating him.
Is it possible for your eyeballs to be sunburnt?
Yes.
Because my right eye it's crazy light sensitive right now. It's really light sensitive. Like, I don't really know what's going on. I've never experienced. I wear contact lenses. I guess I should let the listener know as I decide when to bring the show back. But yeah, dude, my eyes are really hurting. I don't know what's going on. Mac, you say it is possible for your eyeballs to be sunburnt?
Yeah, I knew someone that skied without goggles on and then had to go to the hospital the next day because they burnt their eyeballs.
I'm sorry about that, by the way, boys. That was reckless of me just to bring the show back like that all of a sudden. But, dude, something's going on with my eyes here. So, like, how do you...
any drops?
I don't... Yeah.
I don't even know.
What do you do to prevent that? You wear sunglasses? Is that it? Like, you're not putting sunscreen on your eyeballs.
No, it's got to be sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
Have your eyes ever been sunburned? Put that up on the Twitter poll, please, Mac or Will. Have your eyes ever been sunburned? Yes or no? Because I'm pretty sure that my right eye is sunburned right now. It's pretty sensitive, almost as sensitive as Brian Colangelo. And I know that Will's got a lot that he wants to get into here with this story, so I'm sort of going to let him have the floor here, and we're just going to... Mac, I guess I should say I'm going to be reacting sort of knowing what the story is to what Will says. Mac is sort of coming into this fresh. He was in Canada last week, and you had nothing, right, Mac? I mean, in terms of
no technology. I was off the grid, so I pretty much missed a week of sports.
Right, and so while I'm excited to talk about this myself, I'm sort of more excited to see Mac react in real time to what is one of the weirder, more interesting stories that we have currently. So we'll take it away.
So Brian Colangelo, the 76ers GM since Sam Hinkie got fired, Mac, the process guy.
Yeah.
Since he got the boot in Philly, Brian Colangelo's been in charge. They found out in February and actually like started prosecuting like last week for having 5 open Twitter accounts, burner accounts, just like the Kevin Durant shit, where he criticized Joel Embiid, Jahlil Okafor, and Nerlens Noel personally.
Oh.
He went after his own coaching staff. He went after Sam Hinkie and the Toronto Raptors president, Masai Ujiri. If I said that wrong, then somebody correct me.
I wish I could correct you, but your guess is as good as mine.
And here's the thing that kills me is just like here's the thing that kills me that just like even if he didn't do all of this, he's obviously just a horrible GM with the moves that he's made because none of his guys are what has worked out. Like he's got lucky on Ben Simmons, but he's always made the consensus pick. And if you look back at one of his burner accounts, he literally says that the 76ers should trade up to get Markelle Fultz and just give that first pick away. And then 5 days later, he traded that pick away to Boston to get the number 1 pick, and Boston moved back to 3. Like, just blatantly tweeted it out on a burner account. And then he also like started ragging on like Okafor's like health and stuff on Twitter, on one of these burner accounts.
Were these all pre-GM, or were they going on while he was GM?
No, this was last week. He was shitting on Embiid the day after the season ended. Embiid tweeted out something about going on vacation, and he tweeted back at him like trashing him like you should be in the gym.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. This was happening as late as like May 17th.
Is he smart or stupid?
What? He's one of the dumbest. Like, I don't understand how anyone can be this stupid to like have multiple burner accounts where not only are you just tweeting stuff out that's like reckless and stupid, but you're doing it from his reasoning when they started questioning was one of the accounts he apparently went to his wife's number. And so he was saying it was his wife tweeting the stuff out, which really, dude, just find anything else to back that up. One's like under his son, and it's just awful.
Yeah. Okay, a lot of gaps to fill in here. Firstly, the funniest thing to me that he decided that he was going to tweet on one of these burner accounts was to compliment himself on his shirt collars, which is just fucking weird. It honestly, in all, okay, it's funny as fuck, obviously. That goes without saying, but it's more interesting to me to sort of like explore how self-involved a human you have to be to use a Twitter burner account to do something like that, or how vain you have to be would probably be a better word for it. The reason that Brian Colangelo has the job he has is because his last name is Colangelo. He is from the first family of basketball management. Jerry Colangelo created the Dream Team. So I think that probably, Mac, like speaks to what you were saying before, or asking before about how this guy has the position that he has, given the moves that he made and given this story now, right? The thing for me, and it really boils down to like, dude, even if Brian Colangelo didn't do this, like even if he didn't do it and someone else close to him did, or even if someone else who wasn't close to him did, you can't do business with this guy. Even if he didn't do it, there's no NBA GM who's going to look at this guy and be like, even if it was someone close to him, or even if it was him, it's the same thing. So, dude, I think you have to move on from this guy sort of irregardless of what this story is. And I mean, quite frankly, like, I think you have to move on from him because Joel, like, based on the things that are coming out of Joel Embiid and his camp, like, he doesn't want this guy there anymore.
Dude, no, but like that's the thing is no one wants him there. Like he just makes bad moves and pisses off people, and this is just it all coming out. And one of the funniest conspiracy theories I've heard is that Sam Hinkie's technology genius ass leaked this shit.
Yes.
And that would be one of the best thing I could ever think of.
I agree, and also I think that there's a chance that they bring him back if they fire Colangelo. I mean, dude, like he was right, man. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I'm not sure there's a person in sports that I feel worse for than Sam Hinkie. I'm not sure that there's a single human where I'm like, damn, that guy got uber screwed professionally.
See, yes and no, man. Like, yeah, I get it. He did get screwed, but I don't know. Sam Hinkie wouldn't be the worst person to be with right now, or to be right now. Like, he's considered, like, he's loved by that city. I don't even think if he went back, I think he would have to win a championship to be loved any more than he is right now. Like, that city loves what they gave him. They honor him. They treat him like a Jesus character.
And all the media, just the ESPN and Bleacher Report and all. I mean, Fox Sports, they all love Sam Hinkie and also give him praise. Not just Philadelphia. It's like a nationwide praise for him.
I mean, all I'm saying is that if they're going to move on from Colangelo, which I think they're going to, then they need to move quickly and swiftly to find a replacement GM because free agency opens July 1. And let's be honest here, this is the first time Philadelphia has been significant in free agency in 25 years.
And who got you there? And yeah, I agree with you, Andrew. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not saying that they're going to bring Hinkie back, dude. I don't really know, and I don't care. But I'm saying that they have to move swiftly, and one way they could move swiftly is to bring back the guy who is that revered among the fan base, especially after failing so epically with this Colangelo guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They need to get something right. Like I said, once this offseason, or I mean, once this postseason came up and you got to see this Philadelphia team, I think the glitz and the glamour of them kind of wore off. You realized, like, we're back to understanding that, like, when we're not watching like Ben Simmons and then play every night, you realize that they're not really going to just take over the league next year like everyone thought, and there's still going to need to be a well-run organization for that.
I mean, all of it's super interesting to me, man. But like on a macro level, can we talk for a second about, like, dude, I don't get Twitter as much as you two. And I don't, again, our show has a Twitter and it's cool and you should check it out at _ the Nosebleeds. But like personally, Will, what are tangible benefits to Twitter? Like, what are you gaining from that? What does Brian Colangelo have to gain from having 5 burner accounts?
I will say that him personally, nothing. As an organization, like, I think it is smart to, like, have your eye on social media. You do want to have a pulse on, like, a finger on the pulse of your fans and on what people are talking about and what people are interested in. Because, I mean, I think that every group should have, if you have the money to have a team on social media, I think you should, because I just think that it just benefits you. But I don't think that personally anyone that is famous should have a Twitter that they're that active on.
I don't see
why.
Because
like,
there's no
you're that active just doing dumb things on, like having burner accounts and like tweeting back at fans where you're just going to get yourself in trouble. Like, dude, if I was to get famous, if I was doing anything like Walmart Yodel Boy, like that fast fame, the second I realized I was about to get famous, I would go back and delete everything that had ever been on the internet that I could delete. And I would just delete every history of me on the internet. And then I would start over and I would have the most bland thing ever. Because in 2018, there's somebody looking to take you down 24/7, and Twitter just gives them an obvious way to do that.
Okay, what you're saying is totally true, but I also think it points to like a terrible reality in sports, which is that we are currently incentivizing people to be bland in their public life. Famous people.
Oh, I agree. I think it's a problem, but I think that am I looking out for me? Am I looking out for society?
Right. Yeah, of course.
Because if I'm looking out for me, then I'm not going to stay on Twitter, man. It's not worth it to my career. And I don't care if people are getting shamed into it. If I'm the one making the money, like, why are you going to risk being out there saying that?
Okay,
like, you're making enough money to be above the Twitter arguments.
Mac, do you think that there's a single tangible benefit to having a Twitter, personally, professionally, whatever? Is there a benefit? Name a benefit to having a Twitter.
For me, I'm similar to you. I don't use it that much, but I will say there are people who get famous being on social media, not even being in the public eye, but just being consistent on social media. Like what's Fat Jewish or whatever his name is, and then like Daquan, and then like there's Instagram models, there's Twitter accounts, and everyone follows those people because they either post funny stuff or those girls on Instagram are super sexy, and that's how they get famous is just by like being active on social media.
I said
So
a tangible.
I don't. Yeah, that I don't have a tangible thing.
That's
but
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying,
money.
dude.
You can make money off of Twitter, but what I'm not arguing with the people who are making money via Twitter, man. I'm not talking about the people who are using social media to make their money. I'm talking about the people who make a shit ton of money. There's no reason why you should stay on Twitter and put yourself at risk the way that you do if you're reckless like that. And don't get me wrong, I think one of the coolest things about Twitter in its early days and right now is how quickly I can get in touch with like Mac's Twitter as fast as I can get in touch with Rihanna's Twitter. Like she might not respond to me, but she actually does have the platform to. Shaq, like we know like the celebrities who have been active on Twitter who do tweet back at people, who do speak to people. And if they do it in the right way, I mean, Joel Embiid, it's one of the reasons he's loved in the NBA is because he always talks on the internet with people and jokes around with them. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you've got to use it for that. You cannot be reckless enough to get in Twitter arguments with people because you've made enough money that you're the GM of the 76ers. Why do you need to have a Twitter argument with a fan about how good your collars on your shirts are?
I need to see this tweet later.
I mean, that's the thing for me, man. And again, like what you're saying about Joel Embiid using his Twitter to be funny and to like gain popularity and a huge fan base, which he obviously has, like that's all true. And it also makes him the perfect hero for this story. And like I don't see any way where
his response was phenomenal. Did you see his tweet response? Like as soon as it broke, he responded with just bruh. And it was the picture of him during the draft when he got passed up as the first and second pick when he was like 18, and he's just sitting there just like,
yeah,
just stone face. And I mean like, I agree with you. He's the perfect hero for this story of Brian Colangelo being a villain. And yes, I think the highs are so high if you bring Sam Hinkie back and he does anything of what he did and he starts getting good picks again and he starts using them right and he starts making good moves and swindling people for deals. And that's awesome. I just think the risk that you run with Sam Hinkie coming back is the lows being ridiculously low. If you bring him back and they don't achieve what they think they should. If Joel and Ben Simmons don't get along working well on a team and they can't find a third piece that meshes. If LeBron goes somewhere else in the East, by God, and just ruins them. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff that could go on wrong with Sam Hinkie coming back. But I agree. Sam Hinkie coming back and winning a championship is just a storybook ending.
Do you think LeBron knows that he has to stay East? Like, he's smart enough to know that going West is not a good basketball decision, right?
I think so. I think he knows. I would assume that he knows that East is the best way for him to get to 10 straight finals or whatever he's trying to achieve.
I agree. But are we at a spot?
It's LeBron versus the West.
But don't we think that like plugging him into a couple pieces on one of these West teams isn't? I mean, he, like we just said, he should have won game one of this finals with a trash team.
He would have made the finals with any team in the East this year.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. So if you plug him onto a team with, like, if Chris Paul doesn't stay in Houston and wants to, like, go to LA, him and Paul George and some other young pieces, are we certain that, like, that team immediately is better than the Cleveland team that he almost beat Golden State and Oracle in game one on? So I'm not 100% sold that he has to stay in the East. I think he has to be really careful with who he teams up with, because I think that was one of his downfalls on coming back to Cleveland. I don't think that him as a GM picking who was going to be on his team, I don't think that is his best move that he's made in his history. I think that was pretty flawed in the teams that he's built in Cleveland, long-term wise for himself. But I don't know. I think that if he goes out west and he's careful who he teams up with, then I don't know why it's still not his league over there.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, and we're going to have plenty of time to get into it. So I know we're not going to make it a focus of tonight, and that's fine. But like you said before, Will, there's not a ton of great options. Like, I don't really see any one team, and I'm like, yeah, if he goes there, then they have a chance to beat Golden State. And it sort of speaks to what I was talking about a few weeks ago, where it's like, dude, I'm not sure that there is a team. Like, I'm not sure that the puzzle fits yet to beat Golden State. Like, I'm not sure that it's as simple as LeBron choosing a team and then it happens. I'm not sure that we're at that point. I'm really not.
I'm not sure either. And I mean, to the whole, what's he going to do? And he's like, I mean, name me one team besides Philadelphia that you realistically see him joining in the East.
I mean, what's going on with Pat Riley, man? I mean, things
He's not going to Miami.
I agree with you, but like, where is he going? If he's staying east, then where is he going? Because
that's what I'm saying. I don't think Miami is a destination. I think the only destination in the East is Philadelphia. I don't think going back to Miami again is an answer for him.
Unless Kawhi is involved.
Yes, but that would, again, obviously be Pat Riley pulling off one of the most Pat Riley finesses of all time.
Yeah, understood, man. It'll be interesting to see, of course. And I don't know what he's going to do. I can't believe I'm saying this now, but I'm beginning to think there's a chance he may just opt in and stay in Cleveland for another year and sort of wait out Kawhi to actually be a free agent. It'll be really interesting to see, man. But this is from the Nosebleeds podcast, and we will be returning soon. That was a solid segment.
I liked that. That was a good one.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Andrew. Not as a Cavs fan, but as just a sports fan, that I could. There's no good option in the East besides the Sixers, so I wouldn't be surprised. I think that it pulls the Cavs like higher up on this list than it did maybe a month ago.
Maybe he just goes to Houston for a year.
I don't know. There's a lot of.
I wouldn't be surprised. He'll just keep doing the 1-year contract anyway, so why can't he just bounce around?
Well, I mean,
because Chris Paul's already on one
legacy. I do think that hurts his legacy. If he truly if he just becomes a mercenary, I think that sort of
he's too vain to do that.
It sort of diminishes his perceived value as a team player, and I don't think that's fair to him.
I could see him playing for one more team for 4 more years, and then coming back to Cleveland for 2 or 3 to finish out as a Cav. I wouldn't be surprised by that. That's about the only thing. Is I could see him doing a 1-1 for another 3 or 4 years, and then going back out after that back to Cleveland to finish off his career, because I think he probably does have 2 or 3 years of being a super impactful player in the NBA.
Are you seriously saying right now that you think that he's going to leave Cleveland and come back to Cleveland again?
I mean, I don't know why not.
He'll do the 1-day contract, but I disagree. I don't think he comes back for like that 2 to 3 years. I think he might do like the 1-day contract so he can like put it. Yeah.
All I'm saying, and what I was saying last segment, like, I'm going to stick to it. Like, dude, for people who want to see Golden State lose, I think at this point, your best hope is seriously to hope that Golden State beats themselves.
Well, and I mean, it's that Klay Thompson like really rolls that ankle, and that like Kevin Durant goes down.
But
I think any combination of players going down, besides, like, I think if Steph or Kevin or Klay is standing, then I think it's hard to beat them.
I'm not talking about injury. I'm talking about in the offseason. Does Klay Thompson get himself to a point where he's like, dude, I just went for 30 in a quarter. I don't need this anymore. or Draymond Green, whose role on that team is literally to do all the dirty work for those other three guys.
But is Draymond Green gonna be what is he gonna do on another team if he's not the fourth best player? It's kind of like me at pickup, dude. When I'm the fourth best player out there, we got a solid team. If you make me the second best player, we're trash.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be the second best player on a pickup team, just like Draymond Green can't be the second best player on an NBA team. That's ridiculous. He's got to be the third or fourth best player. And when he's that, he's going to get you a triple-double. He's going to out-rebound, and he's going to be a defensive player of the year. But I think if you're asking him to score 25 a game for you and get 15 rebounds or something like that, or run an offense, it's just not going to happen. He's shooting like 12% from three-point these playoffs.
But does he know that? And, like, that's something that we get into a lot. We talk about ego a lot on this show. And, like, I like to talk about that, but I'm just in, like, dude, do you think Draymond Green knows that and accepts that? I understand that he accepts his role on the team now, Will, but do you really think that Draymond Green doesn't think that he can make it happen by himself? I'm not saying that that's so. I agree with what you're saying.
No, I think he realizes he can't be a 25-point scorer. Are you kidding me? He just doesn't have the tools to do it. He cannot be a 25-point scorer a game and lead your team on offense. He's got to be your third best player or less. And I do think he knows that. And I think that if he leaves, it's not going to be leaving to get a big bag. I think he could leave to join a super team with somebody. I think he could be one of these guys that has a big personality, that's got friends, that if Golden State falls apart and can't figure out the money for him, that he could go out and join up with two guys and be the Chris Bosh to the LeBron and Dwayne and win a couple titles like that. But I don't see him leaving to be the superstar ego.
That is something that I had not considered at all. That is really interesting, which is that, like, we don't ever talk about these pieces in Golden State as being movable pieces to help, like, that dynasty fall apart. And I don't know why that is.
I think Klay Thompson could replace J.J. Redick after next year in Philadelphia, and that might just be better than getting LeBron for their like long term.
Do you think KD's out, or do you think he's going to stay for a while?
I think KD's going wherever is going to give him the best chance to continue getting rings, man. Like, I truly think that Kevin Durant is just a new breed of basketball player who isn't. He just wants to win rings and play basketball with his friends. And I think he's even shown in these playoffs, like, if LeBron James was on the Golden State Warriors with three other All-Stars, and he was down 3-2 to Houston, like, do you know how much trash we would be giving him? But for some reason, we just let Kevin Durant slide. And I think that Kevin Durant's in a perfect situation.
I think he hasn't had an awful, but he has not had a good finals.
Not at all. But and we'd be trashing LeBron, and he's the best player in the world, and pretty much everybody agrees that Kevin Durant's the second best player in the world. But yet we don't eat Kevin Durant alive for not having the killer instinct of Jordan and Kobe like we do LeBron. And I'm not going to get into who's the greatest player of all time, because we can get into that in a month when there's nothing on but baseball in the middle of the summer, and we get to talk about the Yankees and Red Sox every day.
Hey, World Cup, which your country is not in.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So, I mean, we can get into who's the greatest later, and I'm sure there's plenty of time for it. But, I mean, the fact that Kevin Durant's on this great team and he kind of gets to just fly under the radar when he should be the second best player and, like, leading teams by himself like LeBron is, I think that just shows that LeBron's still able to carry a trash team like Cleveland to the finals. And the second best player in the league still is maybe not the best player on his team when it comes to the finals. And I think that just really shows there's a huge gap between first and second best in the NBA right now. And that's pretty crazy considering we got a dude in his 15th season who's like 33 years old, possibly about to take game 3 from the Warriors by himself.
Excellent. That is the exact reason why we should always be acting like we're in show, even when we're in break.
Yeah.
That was a really solid, like, short segment there that we just did that we wouldn't have done if we hadn't done that.
Yep.
So nice job, everyone. All All right, so I would say at this point we're sort of probably at a pivot where I'll introduce everyone, reintroduce the show, explain that we are finally resuming our schedule of Monday starting next Monday, and then probably one more really good sportsy segment, and then some BS.
Word. Trying to think. Let's see.
Yeah, with moving and being in Canada, my sports knowledge has not been.
No, it's fine, dude. It's
so
good actually.
I'm chipping in when I can, but
No, it's good actually, dude. Don't worry about it at all.
Like it's at this point, like we're 2 games into the NBA Finals, and when you go to ESPN.com, the main fucking page is another huge summer of NBA free agency gaining momentum.
Yeah, that's all I saw earlier.
The series is over.
And the French Open. I mean, the French Open, like Nadal's cruising through still. Serena's out. I don't know. And then NHL Finals, Stanley Cup. What is it? 2-1, 3-1?
It's 3-1 now. After last night,
it's 3-1 now. We could talk about it for a second if you want. I don't mind waiting till Monday because I'm guessing the series may be over by then.
I think the series will be over by Monday.
Let's break it down Monday then.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
My parents, I've always been stealing, like, I always steal, like, my parents' subscription to, like, NBC Sports and all that shit so I can watch it online. For some reason, while I could do that in Colorado and out east, I can't do that in North Carolina because there isn't what their carrier doesn't provide network down here. So that sucks.
Well, that sucks. You know what we should get into this summer that I think would be kind of a funny segment? WNBA. I think that could fill up our summer.
I really hope you're being sarcastic because if your idea for this summer is to totally objectify women's sports and do a sarcastic breakdown of it, then
dude, there was a couple girls. There was one girl on that.
I more meant that I'm gonna probably. Do you realize that the WNBA package for WNBA League Pass is like $17?
Okay, so
like I'll pay that to not watch baseball over the summer.
If you had given me
there's soccer.
If you had given me over under $17 on a WNBA season ticket package, I probably would have said, or League Pass type of deal, I probably would have said under. I mean, honestly, I think you might have paid too much. This can't be part of the show, by the way. I think that's.
Oh, damn it! I kind of like that line.
No.
Okay.
No. But no, I don't think that's too much. Like I wasn't being like I was being sarcastic about doing it. I'm not talking about doing it. If we did it, I would not talk about doing it.
Can you name 8 WNBA players, current WNBA players? 8.
Diana Rossi, Maya Moore, Brianna Stewart. Oh gosh. See, yep. No, this is
can't even do half.
This is why Skylar Diggins. Skylar Diggins. I got half. Calm down. Skylar Diggins.
Dude, who is that super hot blonde?
See, you can't say that. This is the reason that this subject is not
talking about
this
podcast.
Della,
she plays for the Chicago. Lana Deladonna.
Yes.
Elena Deladon.
Yeah, okay, you're right. We can't talk about this.
See, this is why you guys need to buy League Pass, WNBA League Pass, and we could watch more of it. And then maybe we could name more WNBA players. Brittany Griner.
All right. I think that we're at a point where we may just need to just do some bullshit. We may just need to not kill time, but we may need to kill time with some fucking aliens, dude. Because we promised.
I'm not.
We promised that conversation, dude, and we still haven't done it. We always promise it. We tease it.
I kind of like that, though. I kind of like continuing to tease it. I kind of like being like, next time we're going to talk about it. And then just don't mention it for like 2 episodes. And then like next time we're going to get into this.
That's fair.
I'm trying to think of some kind of bullshit stuff. Damn, I can't really think of a good would you rather off the top of my head.
Nope. Everyone think of one question to ask the other two because I have one.
Oh, God damn it! What do you mean question? Is it sports related?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, but one question for discussion because I've got one.
Okay, give me a minute.
Yes. 1 sec.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, man. Come on now. God damn it! Now you put me on the spot. It's really hard to just think of
I got
one
one.
question to ask you.
You hear that?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
It's
I'm
Theo.
guessing it's a cat. All right, Will, you got one?
No, fuck you guys.
All right. Well, you'll come up with one during the segment. We break for
All
5.
right.
Coming
Yeah,
back.
no, I got one.
All right. We'll take 5 seconds starting now. How's it going, listeners? My name is Andrew Levin. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. This is From the Nosebleeds Sports Podcast. I'm here with my two very good friends, one being Mac Young, who is now in Asheville, North Carolina. Mac, say hello.
Hey, guys.
And Mr. William Mosley, who is somewhere near or around Spartanburg, South Carolina. How's it going, Will?
Doing well, man. How's everybody?
I think everyone's doing fine. I know that I'm doing okay. Guessing Mac's doing all right. He just got back from vacation, which kind of sounded like a weird sort of deal there. We may get into that in a second. We're going to get into some randoms now, though, because we've talked a good bit of sports for this podcast, and so we're going to try something a little different now. We all have one question to ask the other two, and we're going to see what happens. So I guess, Mac Young, you go first.
All right. So you're sitting poolside or beachside in a tropical region, and a bartender asks you what you want, and your choices are pina colada or daiquiri. Which one do you choose?
It's pina colada, and it's not even close.
It's yes, and you mix them.
Okay, now see, this is something interesting that Will Mosley grew to like on this cruise that we went on in college, where, I mean, let's just be honest, Will had an unhealthy amount of adult beverages in an unhealthy little amount of time. Is that fair to say?
I was in a rough spot, okay?
We were all in a rough spot, okay? It's nothing against Will, and I don't think it has anything to do with Will's character at all, because we were all – it was just – I'm not even sure that we really can get into that trip sort of in a recorded sort of way, but the answer is pina colada, Mac. It might be my favorite summer drink. Like, they're so good, dude. You give it a little whipped cream, cherry on top, dude. And then if you drink it outside, it melts while you drink it a little bit. You get that frozen ice sort of melting into that super cold liquid. Is there anything better than that? I don't think so. It's pina colada.
I agree with you. Mine is pina colada as well. All right, Andrew, what do you got for us?
I mean, see how swiftly Mac just tried to move off of his question? I have more to say about pina coladas, Mac. All right, here's the thing.
All right, I didn't know you had that much to say on pina coladas.
My girlfriend's father makes pina coladas with fresh pineapple. That is so delicious.
Your mother?
No, my girlfriend's father. And here's the thing, all right?
Oh.
You put rum in the bottom of it with the pineapple, and then that soaks up the rum. And so then at the end of the drink, you get to eat that pineapple, and that's like the best part.
Oh, dude, alcohol-soaked fruit is so much better than actual mixed drinks. My parents one time for Christmas, we used to go to a Christmas party in my neighborhood with family friends, everybody in the neighborhood got together and went over there for a Christmas party, or it was a New Year's Eve party. So for Christmas, my mom got given to her this giant glass container of pineapple and strawberries and essentially jungle juice. And so she drank that throughout the holiday season with people, and we enjoyed it. And then for the New Year's Eve party, she brought over some alcohol-soaked fruit. Now, mind you, I'm probably 13. The group of boys that I'm hanging out with, we're 13 to 15. We're hanging out shooting fireworks at each other outside on New Year's Eve. And my brilliant ass was like, you know what we should do? We should go steal all the pineapple and all the strawberries that's in there on the kitchen, and we should eat them and get fucked up and then shoot fireworks at each other. So that's exactly what we did. And as you could imagine, it wasn't a very good outcome when you get 12 or 13 to 15-year-olds pretty drunk on some like strawberries and give them fireworks.
How many fingers were lost that day?
No full fingers, but yeah, Joseph still has a nick that you can find. It wasn't.
You can find. That was sort of vaguely.
I mean, it's not. It's not the most. Not exactly obvious where the injury occurred, but you can find it.
You got his name. You said his name, so we'll just leave it at that. Okay. My question is, do you care about the World Cup at all? Because I don't.
I mean, I care about it less. I definitely care about it less. I don't care about it. I don't not care about it at all. But I mean, obviously, America not being in it just kind of doesn't mean I have a team to super root for.
Yeah, but it's not like I watch it almost every time it comes around, and America never really makes it that far. And I still invest so much time into watching it all the way through. But even though right now I might not care much about it, and I don't need to have high hopes for US since they are not in it, I think once it comes around, I see it on TV. I see it on the only thing on ESPN.com is what they're talking about. That's what they're talking about. I think I'll invest my time in watching that. So, yeah, I think I will care about it, even though I don't care about it right now.
I mean, I'm planning on watching 2 games the entire tournament, and that would be when Messi and Ronaldo play in the group stage and then the final.
I want to see Iceland.
I mean, yeah, that would be cool to see them do it again, dude. But come on, so rarely do teams like that who did something significant out of the blue 2 years ago, did they come back and do something significant again? It's so hard to repeat things like that.
Yeah, it'll be super interesting. I mean, I think once we get into it, dude, the World Cup's going to be like the World Cup is every year. No one's going to care about it. It's going to come on. We're going to watch it. It's going to go off. No one's going to care about it.
Yep.
That happens every year. And I'll give it to you. When America's in it, we get jacked up probably around a week ago is when America usually starts getting excited for the World Cup. And it lasts maybe a week after we get eliminated from the World Cup, but it's usually done by the final. Like Americans usually don't give a shit about the World Cup by the final because we're usually out like right after the group stages, if not in it. So, I mean, like, I just think that it's going to have the exact almost same level of like length of interest that it always does, even if the level won't be as high, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it'll be nearly as interesting, but I think it'll be interesting for the same amount of time.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, yeah, like it's fun to watch great players just like it is in the NBA or whatever. I think soccer is one of those sports where one great player can sort of transform a team, which is cool in a sport where there are 22 people on the field at the same time. But I would be lying if I said that the U.S. not being in it has sort of just drained my interest in it already. And that kind of sucks, dude. It used to be – it is a fun event, of course, but – I don't have a whole lot of interest in it given that my country's not in it. And I don't know. Yeah, it does make a difference for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just not going to be very I don't know. It's just not going to really draw – it's not obviously going to draw the attention that it usually does. And, I mean, yeah, there will be some fun matches to watch, but at the end of it, we still won't care about soccer just like America's always not cared about soccer. and to another sport that most of America still doesn't care about, even though it's a phenomenal sport and a lot more interesting than soccer to most people. The finals are going on, and I want to ask y'all about a video I saw the other day. There's a clip of Capitals fans spraying champagne after winning Game 4 last night and going up 3-1. And I want to ask the two of you, if the Capitals lose now, is spraying champagne, that viral video, one of the most embarrassing and regrettable clips of all time?
I mean, it's embarrassing and it's very regrettable. And I'm not one for embarrassing or regrettable videos, so it would be hard for me to compare. I will say this, though. I gave the listeners that free winner, I guess, last show, right? Picking the over in Game 1, which hit huge because it was, what, 6-5 or something like that?
It was the easiest. They hit the over about halfway through the second.
Right. So I would say this, now that I'm on a little bit of a run here for the good people who support the show, like, dude, Vegas is winning Game 5. Like, I expect Vegas to win and to cover in pretty much every single format. And the reason that I say that is because, I mean, let's be honest, Will, like, you know it as well as I do, it would be the most Caps thing ever for them to blow 3-1.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I'll take yours a step further. If the Golden Knights win Game 5, they're going to win the series. I think the Caps have to close it out. I think if they leave the door open, they're going to get in their own heads, and it's just going to be the collapse of all collapses. And this video will live in infamy.
Mac?
So I have a question. As you guys know, and maybe not the listeners, I was on vacation, and then I've been moving, so I've been kind of hectic and out of the sports world. How many were these the fan? You said these were the fans that were doing the champagne toss, the champagne spray?
Yes, these were fans in a bar that were popping champagne over a Game 4 win. That was, don't get me wrong, it was not to sweep the series like you may think. In fact, let me take it back. It was after Game 3.
Okay, now after Game 3, that's a really bad.
I think it changes the entire story. I'm pretty sure it was after Game 3.
I honestly don't think it matters. Maybe it's a little worse because it is Game 3, but the fact that they did that before they won is bananas.
Maybe a beer. Maybe pouring a Stone Cold Steve Austin beer on yourself. Maybe Game 2 or Game 3, like getting the lead in the series.
A little beer cocky.
Maybe going up 3-1 is enough for a Stone Cold.
If you're popping champagne,
maybe even like you chug a glass and slam it for like going up 3-1. Champagne is a celebratory drink, and I get it that baseball pops it when they win the pennant, and like some teams do it when they win the East and the West, but that's different.
Not Game 3.
It's not game. I would have even understood it when the Capitals won the East if people popped champagne, but not like winning Game 2 or 3 in the finals, or 3 or 4 in the finals, to not win the series. And popping champagne is one of the worst images I could ever think of, especially if the Capitals end up capitaling this.
Dude, I hate so much that there's a possibility that I'm about to have to watch them win. Like, I thought that I had done a really good job sort of compartmentalizing it in my head, but I'm so angry that he's about to win.
Yeah, it's depressing.
He deserves it, man. I don't know. It's a good question, dude. It's a really fair question to ask. I don't know.
Mac, I wish you'd have been here. I wish you'd have been here the other week and you'd have figured it out. Like, it's something wrong with my psyche that I don't like people getting over the hump.
You don't like? That's why you don't like Chris Paul.
We hashed it out last week. I don't like Chris Paul that he made it past the conference finals. Made it to the conference finals. I don't like that Ovi did it. I didn't like that DiCaprio got an Oscar. I just don't like seeing bad streaks like that ending. Dude, I never wanted the Cubs to win a World Series.
I'm just bitter, man. Like, we had Henrik Lundqvist is so great, dude, and like it's done, dude. Like, the window has closed. And I think that they're going to move him at some point over the next year. And now the Capitals are winning a cup. And it's just too much, man. It's too much for me to handle right now. That's really all I have to say about that. Go Golden Knights, man. Like, just go Golden Knights. I expect them to win Game 5, dude. Who knows after that? I think it's
let's get this before we're back, because before we close this out, I mean, both series, I guess we could just be on free agency and baseball season by the next time we record.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, man. We can do some cliche predictions here before we close up shop. But I will say this before we do that. This has been another episode of From the Nosebleeds Sports Podcast. Please hit us up on Twitter at _the Nosebleeds and subscribe to us on SoundCloud in the search bar, the Nosebleeds Sports Podcast. We are the real From the Nosebleeds Sports Podcast. Please subscribe to us on SoundCloud. My name is Andrew Levin. Producer Mac Young, thank you so much for the input today. I'm glad to hear you had an excellent time on vacation. Will Mosley, thanks again for the opinions. It's appreciated as always. And of course, I got to hit you for one more opinion before we get out of here for the night. And so, yeah, like you said, moving to Mondays, finally. Starting this upcoming Monday, we will be recording the podcast on Mondays consistently. So please look out for that on SoundCloud and hit us up on Twitter at any time before then. Well, Stanley Cup, NBA Finals, a winner, a number of games. What's your sense in both series?
Knights in 7, Golden State in 5.
Mac Young?
Caps in 5. Golden State in 4.
I would go Caps in 6, Golden State in 4. And I'm glad to hear that our resident Cleveland Cavaliers fan has come to terms with that, because I thought you were going to give me something ridiculous like Golden State in 7. So I appreciate the rationale there, Mac Young.
I can't.
For all of us here at From the Nosebleeds Podcast, thank you so much. Please check us out on Monday. We will be recording. We'll see you then.
Love you guys.
That was good. Very solid.